Welcome back to the podcast. I know it's been a lot of months since we last did one, but we are back. I'm Brandon. I am joined by Marin, and we will be reviewing Madam Web.
Hell yeah.
First, we're going to start off with non-spoilers, and then we're going to be moving into the spoilers. So, Marin, are you ready?
I'm ready, Brandon. I'm ready to give my full and honest review on Madam Web, the best movie of the year. The best Sony
Yep,
movie
the
ever,
best
in
Sony
my
movie
opinion.
of the Yes, it is the greatest thing in the Sony Marvel universe. So
It's
great that it is now in its own universe.
is it really now it's in its own universe?
It's been in its own universe. Yeah, this was announced before the film was released.
Wow.
All right, so with Madam Web, it is about Cassandra Webb, who is this paramedic whose mother got killed in the Amazon after she was looking for this type of spider.
In Peru, I
Like,
think.
yeah, it was Peru.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Peru.
So she confronts her past whilst having to try to save these three young women and their futures from Ezekiel Sims. And okay, one thing I want to say about the film is that I did like Dakota Johnson as Madam Web, and I did like the three girls, Sydney Sweeney, Isabel Mossad, and Sylvette O'Connor as Julia, Anna Corazon, and Maddie Franklin.
Yeah.
Honestly, the three girls was what made the film good.
4 girls.
Oh yeah, the four girls. I was talking about the three ones that were needing saving, but yeah. And another thing I liked in the film was Adam Scott.
Really? That's one thing I
He,
didn't like.
you did not
He,
like Adam Scott?
nah, he was kind of just monotone. He was barely in the movie, and every
Yeah,
time
he
he
was
was in the
barely in the
movie,
movie, but I felt
for
he stole the
me,
scenes whenever he was in it. He was funny. He
for
made the film.
me, every time he was in the scene, he was just. It felt like he was just reading a script. Yeah, I don't feel like any chemistry was there together with
The
Adam and
one,
Dakota.
the one that felt monotone was Emma Roberts.
Yeah. I
On
mean,
she
yeah, both.
just she's just like, I'm just here getting paid, whatever.
They also had Mike Epps, but they only had him for like 2 seconds.
He was in it. He wasn't in it much.
I know he's like such a funny guy, and they barely used him. That's what upset me, man. I loved his like Friday movies when I was a kid. I wish they would have just used him more. And he's in The Hangover
No, yeah, but
as
yeah,
as the what was his name? He- ah, the guy that they lost in the Hangover movies.
Leslie Chow.
No, 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 no. The friend that
Oh,
they
oh,
lost,
oh, oh, the friend. Ah, I don't remember the name, but
because he was
yeah,
like
yeah.
he was a black version. And he was like, they just I'm gonna call him Fred. He's like, oh, we have Fred. He's like, that's not Fred. Like, what do you mean? That's Fred. No, Fred's white. That's Black
Oh
Fred.
yeah, I remember now.
Anyways, yeah, I wish they would have used him more. Adam Scott.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess that's just his style of comedy.
yeah.
I'm not really familiar with the guy much.
Like,
Let me
hey,
see
but
what he's done before.
this film though, just has a lot of flaws. But I saw a lot of people say this is the worst comic book film ever, which I'm going to be honest, it's not. It's
Oh yeah.
bad. It's bad, but it's funny bad. It had like its moments, I guess.
Wow, he's 50 years old.
Mike Epps.
Adam Scott.
Oh, Adam Scott, really?
Uh, so what do you say the worst film is? You still think Morbius takes that title for you?
No, it's the 2015 Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that movie.
Yeah, it's the best two.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean, this movie was alright. I feel like it shouldn't have been a movie. I feel like it should have just been a show or a fucking straight to streaming movie.
yeah,
I would have
but yeah,
preferred it as a show. It would have made more sense than like,
like
because it doesn't seem like they used a lot of money in the budget. So I don't know where all the money went.
apparently with the film, like of course, it being Sony, there was a lot of script changes, a lot of changes, and probably editing and whatnot. Because the
Yeah.
director of this actually directed some episodes of Succession, which was this big HBO Max show at the time that was super popular. And the director also directed some episodes of Jessica Jones,
Mm. Any good
which after
episodes? Did you like
I
Jessica Jones? I never really watched that show.
I loved season one. Season one was amazing.
Okay.
Season two was terrible. Season three was an improvement.
That's probably what she was writing on season 2.
Ah,
Yikes.
I get that is a yikes. But yet, I noticed some similarities between Dakota Johnson's Cassandra Webb and Kristen Ritter's Jessica Jones. So there were some similarities between the two, I guess.
Yeah.
But how the movie was, I guess, it's like I mentioned, it is not terrible. It is a bad film, but it is bad that it is funny because me and you, we were watching this and we were laughing, making fun of it, pretty much.
Yeah. It's one of those movies that are just bad and funny, bad to laugh at, or yeah, bad and super bad that you just laugh. You can't like it's so cringe. The movie is so cringe. It's like a cringe
Yeah,
time.
it's correct.
I
One
literally
thing I
cringed the whole movie. There were so many
one
lines where I was like, no way, someone literally wrote this in the movie
yeah,
and thought it
yeah,
was a
I
good idea.
agree. It's like one thing I want to mention is how it's like it is believed that the actresses got tricked into thinking they were joining the MCU
Oh yeah, I heard about
because
that.
okay, when Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney posted that their castings, they tagged Marvel Studios in the post. And it's been reported that a week after the first trailer for this got released, Dakota Johnson left her talent agency. So,
Says after being casted, Dakota Johnson was asking Elizabeth Olsen in a hotel lobby about Marvel Studios and how she felt about it.
yes, that is
That's
also true. I
crazy.
remember reading that. And she said something about the film when she hosted Saturday Night Live a few weeks ago
Who, Dakota
that
Johnson?
yeah, like this is like if AI wrote something like that.
Oh, you know what? I do feel like I was gonna say that the dialogue in the movie feels very
Hmm.
AI. It feels very generated, like stuff you see from like the 2000s.
And she made a comment that she was acting in front of a blue screen, and she's like, it was just a lot of blue screen acting. I am scared to know how it turns out, but I hope it's good.
After the first trailer came out, for some reason, Dakota Johnson immediately changed management companies. Most likely, she changed management companies because she probably blames them for getting her into this while she thought it was being part of the MCU or getting into the MCU.
But she's not the only one that thought that because for Morbius, I almost said
Yeah,
Mobius, wrong character. But for Morbius, Tyrese was going around saying, "Oh yes, it's connected in the MCU. I am signed for MCU appearances too," and he was just going on talking about how it's for the MCU.
yeah,
Even Matt Smith, who played the villain in Morbius, he was the 11th Doctor, and he said how he talked to Karen Gillian, who was Nebula in the Guardians of the Galaxy films, because they both were in Doctor Who together. They're both super close friends and everything. And she's like, yes, doing the films, it's so much fun. You should totally do Morbius.
yeah.
So yeah, it was believed that a lot of the Morbius actors thought so too. And it's actually believed because remember, Michael Keaton's Vulture was in that.
Well, yeah, and also at the end of Venom 2, spoilers, he gets transferred into the MCU. So that was also
Yeah.
like something the agents or the studio was like, oh, yeah, so you could probably get into the MCU too. We're like connected technically.
My
Just for
theory
him to get back into the fucking Sony universe or
My
FMU
theory,
universe.
my theory with that was because remember Disney and Sony kind of broke apart, so they were like, "Oh, I guess we're just going to keep this universe separate or something."
Yeah,
I don't know,
but
but
aren't they in good terms now or no?
Yeah, they're still trying to figure out what to do with Spider-Man 4.
Okay. Well, anyways,
But
yeah. So I wasn't a big fan of the movie. I liked watching it with Brandon because we were just laughing our ass the whole time.
yeah, we
Uh,
were just laughing, kind of making fun of it. We're going to get more into it in the spoiler section, but yeah, it was
Also, no end credit scenes, by the way,
no
guys.
end
So if
credit
you go
scenes.
watch this, don't wait around.
Just a pretty cringe ending.
Oh
That
my
feels a
god,
bit like a parody, honestly.
this
Like
movie
feels
felt
like
like
a
it was a parody. Yes, perfect.
it's the ending part just felt like a parody. And one thing I do want to mention is how, like, with the Spider-Man comics, there's this whole web of life thing where like every spider persona is connected kind of within the universe due to the web of life.
Yeah,
And yeah, it felt like this film just did not know the Spider-Man lore. It just kind of ignored it and tried to do its own thing, which it's kind of weird, I guess. I
I
don't know.
agree. I agree. I agree. I feel like Sony just
Mhm.
I don't know. For me it feels like they wanted to do something connect to their universe with this Madam Web movie, but somewhere along the line it went horribly wrong and they just scrapped the whole thing and just said, we're just gonna we already made the movie. We're just gonna like let it out of theaters and make this its own separate thing. Which I'll
Yeah.
I'll give them props to that. As long at least I don't write it off as a tax write off or something.
One thing I do want to mention that I have respect for Sony, I guess, trying to like take these chances, like with Madam Web, Morbius, Craven, compared to Warner
DC,
Brothers
yeah,
before the James Gunn took over. How like, do you remember we were supposed to get a New Gods film, a Deathstroke film, a
The
Harley
Batgirl
versus
film,
Joker, the Batgirl, and it's
which is
like
already
a lot of,
filmed.
yeah, it was filmed, but yet Warner Brothers, they got scared, tax write-offs, canceled a lot of
Mm,
it. So I do feel like Sony got balls to do stuff,
yeah, at least they let out their mistakes.
even though these are terrible films, but yet
I
at
mean, can
least
you imagine
they're being
if like it
released.
was never if it was like said that we're just gonna not release the movie, we're gonna use it as a tax write off?
Honestly, with how the Sony films are, I feel like people will celebrate that.
No, I feel like it would be the same with Warner Brothers. People would be like, "Oh no, we gotta see it. Oh, I want to watch it."
Maybe.
I mean, because look at
I don't
Batgirl.
know.
Batgirl doesn't look like I've seen the photos and all the rumors about Batgirl, and it doesn't look like it'd be like top tier superhero movie. But people still want that
Yeah,
movie released.
yeah, it had Michael Keaton's Batman.
Is that the only reason?
Well, no, but it had Brendan Fraser as
Firefly.
Firefly,
That's right. I forgot
and
about that.
so yeah, it was like the film was unfinished. So then being like, oh, it sucked, but it's like, what do you mean it was unreleasable? That it sucked? It was unfinished. It was still being
Yeah.
worked on.
I mean, look at Madam Web. And they still released that.
They still released this. So okay, so my overall thoughts for like the spoiler free, it's bad, but it's funny bad. And rating for it, I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. I feel like that was me being a bit generous.
Six point
But
five out of 10. Uh,
yeah,
for me, I'm gonna give this two two tacos out of 5 tacos.
you should
Yeah,
keep the taco thing. The taco thing's your thing. You got to keep that now.
2 tacos out of 5 tacos.
And to quote Jeremy Johns, it might be a fun time, alcohol required.
Amen, brother.
Like how you were.
I know, I wasn't even that drunk. Oh my god, the movie theater we went to had Jack and Coke slushy. It tasted a little bit alcoholic in the beginning, and then at the end of it, was like they have no alcohol. It was like barely any alcohol. I should have
Dang.
pre-gamed, but you know, that's
Yeah.
neither here or there.
But yeah. Bad but funny movie. And that ends it for the spoiler free talk. Now we're going to go into spoilers and we're going to go into more detail about some of the scenes that stood out in we're going to go into more details about the characters and all that. And one thing I do want to mention is that yes, Ben Parker and Mary Parker are in this film. Adam Scott plays Uncle Ben, and Emma Roberts plays Peter's mom. Like that was, even though it's not technically a spoiler, but yet it was kind of like heavily speculated but never confirmed until the movie was released.
Yes.
So we don't see Peter's dad in the film as he's apparently off in some business trip, which reminded me a lot of the was kind of like I guess went into the comics because in the comics Peter's parents were both agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
It doesn't feel like Emma Roberts' parent isn't though. Like she doesn't feel like she's an agent. She feels like she's a stay-at-home mom.
I know, but yet I don't know. It made me think that maybe his dad is like on some CIA type mission or something. I don't know because of how the comics were.
Yeah.
And like fun fact about the comics, they were both on a mission to save Wolverine.
I remember hearing that.
And that's and now after they saved him, that's when she found out she was pregnant, and Wolverine was the first one to congratulate her on the pregnancy.
Oh.
So seeing like Wolverine and Peter's friendship along the way after the I don't know, it's like he's looking out for him. Good, I guess. That's just comics though.
How did they die in the comics?
I think might have been Red Skull. I don't really remember.
Oh.
It's complicated. I think all that got changed constantly.
Oh. It's better
You
that we
know,
don't know, I guess.
they always do these retcons and all that. But yeah, no. And we don't see Aunt May in the film because Ben Parker only mentions that he just started dating someone to
Like,
Cassandra Webb.
bro, that was another cringe part of the movie. Like, they really couldn't have said like Aunt May. He's like, oh yeah,
May,
I met this
her
girl.
name before marrying Ben was May Riley. Or
Oh, what? I
yeah.
mean, yeah.
So
Obviously
they
he
could
wouldn't
have,
say Aunt May, but like they
yeah,
could be like,
could have just
like,
mentioned the name, but like May.
because in the scene where they talk about it, Dakota Johnson's asking him, "Hey, oh no," he tells her like, "Oh, I met this girl," and she's like, "Oh yeah, what's her name?" And then he just like, as he's eating his lo mein, he just like smiles at her and then looks down. He's like, "What do you like to know?" And then the scene ends. I'm like, "What the hell was that? Why not just say May if they're gonna? Why even mention it? Just say May
So
if you're
like
gonna say May."
they do have some Spider-Man references, but without fully referencing Spider-Man. Like there's this one where Ezekiel Sims is like in his spider costume, and like they're talking about it afterwards, and they're like he's climbing on the walls like some spider person, and it's like they're playing like in there like there's this baby shower scene
Yeah.
where it's like they're trying to guess the baby's name, and like as they're about to guess the name, it cuts pretty much.
Yeah.
Or like so it's just so weird how it's like
Well,
it's trying to force some of these references.
they say Ben. I think she says Ben,
Yes.
which
Which
is
Ben
his
as
name.
actually Peter's middle name, Benjamin.
Yeah, it was such a weird movie.
And like
There's another
they do
where well, there's not a scene, but like in the trailers, you see the girls in their outfits and their Spider-Man costume or their Spider-Woman costume. That only
mhm.
happens in the movie for like 2 seconds. It's
But
very
yeah, those are like
in the
flash
movie.
forward dream sequences.
Not even. They're just basically dreams because they never happen now because that future is
Yet.
gone because he's dead. Ezekiel's
But
dead.
yeah, Jacob's dead, so it's like how the hell do they get their powers?
So that never happens. They never. I mean, that to be honest, whatever Ezekiel was dreaming about, that seemed like a way better, more interesting movie than whatever we got. I wish you
Okay.
would have just done that, them trying to kill Ezekiel and get that spider.
Let me mention about what the original plan was rumored to be about.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
the original plan was rumored to be about Ezekiel apparently somehow time traveling back in time to kill Mary Parker before she gives birth to Peter Parker. So it's supposed to be like this Terminator type plot.
Yeah. Oh,
That was
what did they
the
change
that
it?
was said to be the original idea.
I mean, it looks like it because in the dream sequence where they're in the technically a vision in the future, it looks like it looks like it wasn't rushed because most dream sequences they don't last that long. It was like
Yeah,
maybe like 2-3 frames or what. It wasn't that long, whatever. But it looked like
yeah,
they had like a lot of budget in that dream sequence. It looks like they planned out like a whole. She
yeah.
was in like full makeup and everything. They were in
And it
their
was
full
going to
costume.
be
So it
and it
makes
was going
sense
to
what you're
be
saying.
my bad.
Like, what's the original idea of like them traveling back to go like, save Peter or whatever? That it seems like that would have made more sense.
And it was going to be Madam Web and the three girls trying to save Peter. Well, trying to, because Peter is important.
Yeah, he's like the main Spider-Man.
Yeah. One thing though I realized with the ending was that they did. You remember like how they were like talk about with great power, but yet they changed it,
Yeah.
and like with how like they do tease how important Ben is to Peter. It's like, oh, without the responsibility yet. That so it's kind of like, wait, so she knows that her friend is going to die?
Yeah, and she
What?
doesn't let it happen. They,
What?
I know what scene you're talking about. What did he? She said something to the idea of him getting shot too. I think.
Yeah, like so.
So she
That's
sees all this stuff that's gonna happen, but she's
yeah.
just in her room chilling, just getting sun.
I don't know.
Also,
Oh
the
man,
way that they make her blind, because I guess she's blind in the comics, but the
that
way they make her blind is
was
so dumb.
so dumb. I was there like in the water, and then all of a sudden a fireball comes and hits her in the eyes. Like
They couldn't have done something like I don't
what?
know.
Have
They
the
could have done something better.
guy stab her in the like have a knife or something and just slaps her across the eyes or something.
Oh yikes! I was gonna say like poison
That's what
her,
happened.
like or you know. Oh, that's
No,
what
like
happened in
that's
the comics.
no, that happened in Star Wars. In like Star Wars Rebels, how like one of the guys blinded one of the main guys with his lightsaber across the eyes. I feel like they could have done
Ouch.
maybe something similar to that, or without lightsabers, of course, but still.
Yeah,
And then all of a sudden, she's paralyzed too. Oh.
yeah. It was. How did I don't know how she got paralyzed. That just kind of happened, huh?
Yeah, like because we see her in the water and she's easily moving her legs,
Yeah.
kind of squirming a bit, and then when the fireball hits her, she's squirming. You can see
She
the
also
legs
acts.
moving just
She also
fine.
acts very different at the end of the movie instead of how she usually acts in the whole movie.
And then there's
Whole
like a
movie, she's
dream.
kind of like a monotone, chill kind of girl. She doesn't keeping to herself. But in the end of the movie, she's like very serious. Like she's
Mm-hmm.
not taking any.
Like,
She does everything she says is
like,
precise.
yeah. Like one thing also is that like with the ending when it fast forwards showing them in their final suits and then showing Madam Web in her suit, she has these Bret Hart thick glasses on.
I gotta look at this suit again.
Wrestling fans will know what I'm talking about. So I don't know that scene, the ending, it was just so cringe that that part itself just felt like a parody. It was just I
Yeah, it
don't
was.
know. It was just weird.
I gotta look at this ending suit again.
Like in the
I got
promotional
the beard
stuff,
picture.
we don't see
That
her
was
with the glasses, and it looks fine, I
better.
guess. But yet in the film, for some reason, it was like, what the heck is that?
Yeah, they could have. They I don't. To be honest, I don't think they needed to make her blind right away. Or just
Yeah,
in this movie, I feel like they just try to rush everything at the end.
yeah. And one thing that the director said was, why didn't we see them become the Spider Women? Was because he was like, oh, we didn't want to tell four different origin stories in one film.
Oh, so they were planning to make like a whole different origin.
I don't know, maybe. And just Like, I'm not gonna lie, the other three suits for the other three, they looked okay. They looked okay. Uh, for Julia's, their suits are pretty correct for the most part. I do think like the face mask for Julia could be a little bit better,
Julia,
but they
which
looked
spider is
okay
she?
for the most. Hmm?
Which spider is she?
The blonde one,
Oh, Dakota. Sydney.
Sydney, yeah,
Sydney.
yeah.
She's a
She's
redhead in
Spider
the
Woman.
movie.
Yeah, she's blonde, and in the comics, she's a mother, and in the comics, she actually does become Madam Web after the original Madam Web. Cassandra
Oh yeah.
Webb dies. He kind of passes her power and blindness to her.
Oh
Yeah, but she walks. But Julia as Madam Web walks, and she has like I think a teenage daughter or a young middle school type daughter. So yeah, like I don't know. I guess it is what it is.
yeah. I mean, we got the movie. It's here.
One thing I do want to mention that with Ezekiel Sims, the villain, he was underutilized. It was pretty much unknown what his motives were.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
And we said I talked about this in the spoiler free one, but one thing I do want to mention is that like there was just a lot of scenes where you could see him talking, but yet the the
Oh,
ADR, the voice just didn't line up to what he was saying.
yeah. It was very. I was gonna mention that in the theater, but I was like, maybe maybe it's just me.
I think I mentioned it to you in the theater actually.
I don't remember that. I do remember
I
thinking
did
that
mention it in my TikTok review, but
I remember thinking in the theater while I was watching the movie that is this guy dubbing over his lines, or am I just, or is like the sound off or something? Because like he was,
yeah, it
I
was.
specifically saw when he was in bed with the FBI lady or whatever she was,
Hmm.
and they
Yeah,
were
and I
talking, and the camera was facing behind his head, and you see his mouth move, but it wasn't matching what he was saying. I'm like, oh, okay, this is weird. This is like throwing me off a little bit.
yeah, and it was like that when he was talking to like the tech lady who was supposed to do the work, find the girls for him.
Yeah.
I noticed it in that scene too, which was
Oh
so.
my God. That was really weird. Yeah, I do remember that. That was like a real that really bothered me.
Yeah, that was like, this isn't right. I don't know. It's uh
Yeah.
and there is
Talking to
one
Texas
cringe
over there.
scene though I do want to mention.
Yeah.
So you remember when like they're practicing the CPR on the pillows or like to like
Oh my God. I know.
they're
Yeah.
like they're doing it, but yet they're just bouncing up and down as they're doing it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was I felt
Bouncing
really
and
uncomfortable during that who is the director of this? Isn't it a female director?
it was a female.
Why is she what was the
I
point of
don't
that?
know.
What was the point of the whole scene? Just to show their cleavage? Oh my, it was like
You didn't
the
see
only
their
point
cleavage. Well, maybe
the only
for
point of that scene was for at the
and
end.
they're teenage girls, so they wasn't gonna show it. But it was just so cringe. I guess seeing like these supposed teenage
Yeah.
characters just bouncing up and down in plays, doing like practicing like chest compressions.
Yeah. It was all for nothing. It was like at the end they just used it like to save Madam Web, I guess, but that wasn't
Yeah,
necessary.
like I'm tired. Quickly take over and just that was just felt
It felt
like
awkward.
huh.
Yeah, I felt awkward watching that scene.
I'm literally watching this scene. It's like, why does this was obviously written by a dude,
Yeah, there was
even
no
though.
reason for that to be in there. Like in every other movie where like somebody needs like CPR, they don't
Mm-hmm.
show them learning CPR. You just do it, and the audience believes it. I've
They
never
don't,
questioned myself at the like, oh, this
and
guy doesn't know CPR. He's not doing it right. He's not doing the
and
fucking synchronizing, whatever. They
and
just
they don't show you hopping in like just jumping in place.
no, they don't. So yeah, that was probably one of the worst scenes in movie history. I just
That
felt
was
so
so
awkward.
bad. That was like I feel bad for it. I don't
But
know. That was
anyways,
like I don't know. That was just
enough with the bad. What do you? Is there anything you liked about the movie?
Okay, so I know a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people online being like, "Oh, this is worse than Morbius," but I'm going to be honest. I actually enjoyed this film a little bit more than Morbius
Oh yeah.
because with Morbius, that movie was just mostly bland, while with this film, it's not fully bland. Like with this film, there's more entertaining, dumb, fun moments, I guess. Well,
Yeah.
funny, bad moments than was with Morbius. Because there's some stuff's like, okay, that's pretty cool. I like that one character. Nah, this is pretty bad. What the hell? Like, just like not fully amused. While this film is like, this is so bad. I'm actually a little bit amused because it's funny. So yeah, that's one thing I would say about this film that is good.
I
If
agree.
you get what I mean, right?
Yeah, I agree. It's I never really watched Morbius, so I can't really talk on that part, but I understand what you're saying that this movie was just like it was like so bad it's funny. Like The Room, if you guys ever watched The Room or know what The Room is.
I saw the one that has James Franco pretty
That's
much
the
talking
disaster
about it.
artist. Yeah, that was a good one. That's a good
Yeah,
movie. The
that
Room
was
is
good.
bad. I've never seen The Room, but I know of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
This I
But
feel
let's
like this
talk.
might be. I've somebody said I've heard this comparison, but somebody said that this might be The Room for the future, for like the future generation. This movie's so bad it's good.
I
You know,
guess.
and it
And like, let's be real, we've seen bad movies. Like
those movies aren't true. Those movies
one of
aren't
your
trying to be
favorite
good.
bad movies, movie 43.
That's not my favorite. But those movies aren't like those movies know what they are. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
feel like. Yeah.
This movie
And
was
with
like trying to be more serious.
one thing I do want to mention, I only seen a little bit of this, but yes, Chris Stuckman was getting a lot of hate because he refused to give it a bad review and yet talk about what probably happened behind the scenes with working for a big studio like this. Because Chris Stuckman, he doesn't do really, he doesn't like to give movies bad reviews because he's scared that it could ruin his chances as he's now working in film.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because he actually directed a horror indie film recently. So he's
Okay.
kind of scared. He is scared that giving movies bad reviews could like kind of like blacklist him. But with
Yeah.
this film, he talked about how he is sure that Sony changed a lot of stuff and a lot of just stuff like that because of the director and all that, and it does seem like that did happen.
Yeah. I agree with Chris, but it's still a bad movie. It still
Yeah,
deserves a
yeah,
better review, in my opinion. You know, he may be who, I'm not trying to work in the movie industry anytime soon. Maybe you are, Brandon, so you better watch out.
yeah. I gotta watch out.
I think
No,
that's,
and the thing is, with some people that is wanting to, that is,
yeah.
no, doing reviews and all that, because sometimes you have like the studios that is like inviting them to the premieres and all that, and like afterwards, when they're talking about their thoughts on the film, they're kind of scared to like be truthful with the film.
Mhm.
And then you have some TikTokers with some film or TV products, like maybe at first they're like, yeah, no, I'm not really a big fan of it, and then like all of a sudden they see it just get a lot of good stuff, a lot of great reviews, and then all of a sudden they kind of jump the bandwagon. It's like, oh yeah, this is a great film, this is a great series, and then
Yeah.
maybe months later they're like, ah, no, that was a big piece of dog shit.
It's like it's a little bit of FOMO, fear of missing out, so they just want to be part of the group.
Yeah, so it's like me as a reviewer, I want to be truthful, but yeah, I don't want to be like toxic or because there's some people that's like, oh, this movie wasn't for me. Oh, fuck this, fuck that.
Fuck, 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 fuck.
Pretty much. While it's like,
Yeah.
and for me, like, there's some movies like, oh, it wasn't for me, but yet I did like the style, I did like the cast, I did like the cinematography, but story wise, I just felt like it just wasn't for me as I just found it a bit boring. But I understand why people like it. And like, no, with Madam Web, like, this was a film that's like, okay, yeah, it's dumb fun, but not dumb fun. It's a stupid, dumb, bad that is fun.
You sound like a kid in that. You stupid, dumb, stupid.
Yeah, my bad. But yeah, it's like I can see people like I get to see groups of friends having fun with this film,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's like, but it comparing to like other Sony Marvel films, let's be real, Venom's those films are dumb, but yeah, they're just so much fun.
Yeah.
And Morbius was just unfortunately bland,
And
but
I mean Spider-Verse, but that's animation, I guess.
that's Sony animation. That's not part of like the. I guess it technically is, but
I'm
that
about to say
wasn't
the
fully.
Spider-Verse.
I was talking about like the Sony live action because remember
Yeah.
they're doing their own cinematic universe of Spider-Man characters. So so cringe, so bad, but and with it like and with this film they kicked it out the universe before it was officially released.
Yeah. Well, it
So
I don't know, man. This movie, I don't want to be mean, I guess, but it was just wasn't for me. It was. I don't know. I don't know who this
yeah,
movie's for. I don't know who the like.
honestly, I don't know either. Yeah, one thing I do want to mention is that like there were like rumors of it
Yeah.
connecting to the other Spider-Man films because you know the Web of Life,
Uh
and
huh.
there were rumors that it's going to be Tom Holland as the main Spider-Man for the Sony universe when this film was originally connected to the other Sony to that Sony cinematic universe they were making.
Yeah.
But and what's interesting is that originally like there was a rumor that Andrew Garfield was offered to be the Spider-Man, to be the main Spider-Man in the Sony universe, but he said no due to still not trusting Sony.
Yeah. He was already the Spider-Man in the main Sony universe, and they fucked it
That was
up.
that was the Amazing Spider-Man universe because they're originally planning on making that into a whole cinematic universe, but Sony fucked it up.
They fondled
And
the bag.
so Andrew Garfield is like, he's hesitant to work with Sony unless Marvel is involved.
Makes sense, at least to me.
So they're like, okay, we're going to have Tom Holland be the Spider-Man for this film, and then they're like, wait, this film takes place in 2003. That doesn't make sense. So they cut pretty much any Spider-Man reference there was, I guess.
I guess.
That's a rumor. I don't know how true it is, but
Yeah.
that's what the streets are saying.
Hopefully, it's not true.
So, and like there were rumors of Venom 3
Mm-hmm.
being about like cuz like being about like after the events of this film, like they go back, Venom goes back to his own timeline, well, his own universe, and they look up Peter Parker and they find out that he's like a 10-year-old kid. So they're like they're going to go kill him, but with him being a kid, they're like, "Oh, we can't kill him." And in which Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock pretty much becomes a father figure to Peter Parker, which is like, what the heck is this crap? I'm not a fan of that idea.
Yeah. Yikes! Yikes, man.
Yeah. So
Sony's in. I don't know. Sony. Hopefully they figured out, or I don't know. What do you if you were there in Sony and you were like one of the top CEOs or whatever? What would your idea for Sony to do next? What would you want them to do next? I guess to try and
fully work
save
with
their universe.
fully work with Marvel.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, yeah, like because what Sony's doing is their only success. It's the Venom films. Morbius
Uh.
flopped.
Yeah.
This film flopped. So, and like with this film being in like a separate universe, we're never going to see this universe again. We're never going to see this cast again. Let's be real.
Yeah, I agree, man. For me, I would just tell them like, hey, honestly, just get better writers and like trust your writers and directors more. Let them, if you're gonna make this thing its own thing, just let them go all out. If you and also don't be
Yeah,
scared of making references to like Spider-Man. You guys own the rights to Spider-Man.
yeah,
Nobody's
fully
stopping
right.
Sony but Sony. So if you guys
Yeah,
want to like make a reference or two, just go ahead. Nobody's in like the audience is gonna find it more weird if you make the reference and then later take it out, like you did with the Morbius trailer.
yeah. Like what's because you remember how in the Morbius trailer you see Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man like on a poster that says murderer.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
the director had no idea about that until the trailer aired. Sony put that in there themselves, or had the one of the editors, effectors, to put that in there.
Yeah, so don't be scared, Sony. Just if you're gonna make the movie its own thing, make the movie its own thing, and trust your directors, trust your writers. Let them do what they feel like it's best, and also stop with the cringe. Like, oh my god, just stop with the cringe, bro. There's so
Oh
much
my
cringe
god!
in Sony movies. It's ridiculous.
It it works for Venom, I guess, because that it is just hilarious seeing Eddie and Venom
Yeah,
bicker with one another. That is pretty much some of the stuff that makes the film great. But yet, I don't know, with this film and with um Morbius, it doesn't work.
I agree, man. I agree with you completely. It doesn't really work here.
Like
It hasn't. They're trying to make it work. They're trying to make its own universe, and it's not working.
and like I saw someone
Yeah.
on TikTok talk about this, how it's like Sony has to release like a Spider-Man film project every 5 years, apparently. Every
I don't know how true
so
that is, but if it
I
is,
heard
I mean, the
something
way they're
about that.
making these movies and letting
So
them
they're
out,
just
I believe it.
so
But I
they're
don't know
just
how
doing
true it
these
is.
and just putting them out there, and it's bad. No,
I don't. I mean, how true is it? Why do they have to release a movie every year or every other
to
year?
keep the rights, I guess. I don't know if
I
it's
don't.
5 years, but every 5 years is.
Oh,
I don't know. Could be. I don't know.
I don't know if that's how movie rights work though.
Yeah, that's how it was for the Fantastic Four
Oh yeah.
when
Well,
Fox
who
owned the
owned?
Fantastic
Oh,
Four.
Fox owned it.
Yeah, so I don't
Huh.
really necessarily know how it is for Sony films. Like that's what I heard someone on TikTok talk about, but I don't.
I mean, how about the
Like I
Hulk?
mentioned, the Hulk.
It's been forever, and there's no
That's
movie on that.
there's different. They have different rules for that. Like it's Marvel owns the character rights, but
Yeah.
Universal owns the distribution rights. So if Marvel's like, okay, we want to make a new film, that's when Universal's like, okay, we were distributed. So that's kind of a problem because it's Hulk is a Disney-owned character, which means Disney won't be able to distribute it. So you know, apparently Mark Ruffalo talked about how Universal don't know how to play nice with Disney about it. So
Sounds about right. Universal makes the Fast and Furious films, so
they made the
unless
Jurassic Park, which
yeah. Anyways, this isn't a Universal Disc podcast.
yeah, no, we were talking about that, and we were talking about comic the movie rights, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, 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 yeah. Sony's, I mean, you might be working with Universal one day, Brandon. So
My gosh.
you don't want them hearing this podcast with you. Excuse me.
Hopefully they have.
What did you guys say about my? What did he say about Fast and Furious, Brandon? And you're like,
Oh my god.
I said,
I
I'm just
said I loved Brie Larson's character in the new one.
yeah, Brie Larson's amazing. Vin Diesel really likes her too. I heard.
And then again, Vin Diesel's canceled.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah, for now, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that, so I'm pretty sure
I
he's
haven't
on
heard
campus.
either because I haven't. I didn't hear the only news about that I heard. It was from you.
What's from the
And
day it happened?
yeah, from the day it happened, and like that's about it. I haven't really heard
Yeah.
anybody else talk about it.
So, and okay, enough of Universal and all that. Let's talk about the Spider-Man stuff and Madam Web.
Yeah, all right. Well,
So,
I'm pretty much done with Madam Web. To be
but
honest, if you want
but
to keep talking about Spider-Man, I
there
heard.
is one scene we have to talk about, but one
All right,
part of
go ahead.
the Arañas.
Oh,
We forgot to talk about that, but yes, we're going to talk about it now.
the
I'll let you.
Ranyas.
I'll let you talk about it for a bit.
Oh, I mean, I don't have much to say about that. Just that it was funny the way she said Aranyas. In the movie, there's a clan of people that live in Peru that have, I guess, Spider-Man abilities. They have the ability to like jump on trees and run super fast or super strong, super
They have
agile.
like they have like these spider type abilities, which is weird, I
Yeah.
guess, but whatever.
I forgot. I maybe because I wasn't paying attention or I wasn't there, but I kind of forgot how they got the abilities.
I think by
Any
the spiders that bit them.
is it?
Something
Anyways,
like that has to be.
when Dakota Johnson is talking about this, she mentions that she says the word arañas, but like it's the way she says it just made me laugh because she says it like a gringa. The
The,
arañas, they're the arañas. I'm like, at
they're
first
the
I didn't understand what she
arañas.
was trying to say. It was like, wait, oh, it took me a while to understand. Oh, arañas.
I
Yeah,
didn't think much about it until Marin was just laughing his ass off next to me about it.
yeah. I mean, like
It's,
this is like arañas. You guys,
yeah, the
and then it takes.
arañas. Arañas.
There's a part where in the movie, it might come out of nowhere, but she goes to Peru and she has to like
Oh my
meet the
god.
Aranya people. They
No,
couldn't
it's
have worked
funny.
with the pronunciation a little bit.
Just how she goes to Peru because she is wanted by the police. Then all of a sudden she just gets on this flight to go to Peru. It's like what?
Yeah, that was weird too. Like, what the heck?
But just the
How
way.
is she in Peru already?
But I was thinking about this. It's just the way she would say arañas.
Uh huh.
It could have been a drinking game.
Oh yeah, she mentioned it a lot, and the way she was saying it was so funny.
Like there she said. She said it. Not time now. It was that
Did they
cringe funny.
did Ezekiel said it? Cause he's Spanish, I think, the actor, right?
I guess Zeke was saying araña.
Yeah, I think he just said like a Spanish
I
person
don't know.
will. Which I'm not saying. I understand she's white, but like
Yeah.
at least say the little try. It sounded like she wasn't even trying, man.
There were sometimes you could just tell some of them just
Did not want to
I don't
be
know,
there.
did not want to be there, wasn't even trying,
Like Emma
like there was
Roberts.
some Emma Roberts for sure. She just did it just to get that money and just to get the fuck out of there.
Gaming, get that money, girl. Slay
And there
queen.
were like some stuff with Dakota Johnson that's like I don't know. See, this is like she was just doing what the script said.
I forgot that she was in that one movie. I'm looking it up right now. That she was in 50 Shades of Grey.
Yep, she's the main girl in that. So we got several upcoming. Well, we got two upcoming Sony Spider-Man Universe films coming out
Two.
this year. We got Craven the Hunter, and we got Venom 3.
Venom 3 is coming out this year, supposedly.
Supposedly,
I didn't hear about that at all.
I didn't think it was coming out this year, but looking it up, it's set for November 8th, 2024.
And there's no trailer out yet.
No, they just finished filming, I think, or they might still be
Yeah,
filming.
but
So they're
Sony
gonna be
like
doing They're
you
gonna
know
be
how
doing
Sony
post
does it
production. Yeah, they're gonna be doing post production for that quickly though,
because
which
Sony
that's
likes to
what I'm
release
kind of scared
trailers.
of.
Sony likes to release trailers like 2 years in advance. Look at Morbius. Look at Craven the Hunter.
Well, those got canceled and postponed due to Morbius because of the pandemic,
Morbius. Oh, okay.
and Craven due to the strikes.
Bro, Sony's just like every time Sony wants to release a movie, something fucking happens, huh?
I know. So. What are your thoughts on Craven and Venom 3?
Excited for Venom 3. Craven, I could care less. I am not a big Craven fan. I don't
But
know much about the
but
character.
it's rated R.
Oh,
Okay,
you
so
know what
get
else
what you
is
know.
rated R? Movie
Deadpool.
43, your favorite movie.
Oh, said that was rated R.
Rated R has nothing to do with like a movie's
I know.
workability. I mean, I like the guy that's in it. He
Yeah,
played
Aaron Taylor
Quicksilver.
Johnson. Yeah, kick ass.
Oh yeah, he kick ass. So he is.
Yeah.
You know, it looks like the trailer looks like gives me John Wick vibes a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I don't really have any faith in Sony right now,
Yeah.
unless they're doing like a I don't know. Like I feel like just I mean with the Venom movie, something magic there happened, and I think they're just trying to do it again.
I feel like with Venoms, it was just because of Tom Hardy.
It's also, let's be honest, it's also because Venom is such a popular character.
Yeah.
It's
Even
not
though
like huh?
he's not like how he is in the comics and all that, but still, it's just I don't
Well,
know. Just what they did with Venom was just a lot of fun.
it's a popular character. People like Venom. Like
Yeah.
all the new kid, like the young kids love my cousin. My little cousin is obsessed
Mhm.
with Venom. He doesn't he likes Venom more than Spider-Man, and a lot of his classmates do too. It's just what the new generation likes. They like that Venom. They like the Venom movies,
Right.
and
Yeah, yeah, I
because they're
get that.
funny movies. I mean,
They're
remember when we
dumb
were
fun.
kids? We watched a bunch of dumb stuff. Like I remember I used to excuse me, I used to like Ghost Rider as a kid a lot.
I like the first Ghost Rider.
I
I
did
still
too.
do.
And
The
I mean, I
second
do
one,
I like it too now, and the Daredevil movies, but I see all these reviews of
uh,
people that like were adults watching that, and I understand their
yeah,
criticism.
like
I mean,
Ghost Rider 2, that was a bad film. But
I
Daredevil,
don't remember much of that one.
I have respect for Daredevil. I don't know why.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I like the music in it.
it
But
was a
yeah,
good movie. I had it on I think on VHS or whatever.
yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I do miss a lot of the like this era of Marvel movies in a way, because some of
Oh,
them were
the
like
X
kind
Men
of
were good
corny,
too.
fun. Like yeah, like just how
You do
kind
like
of corny
corniness to the movies.
I do. I'm fine with it, but just
I do
there's some
too.
that's
Like,
like it's bad.
do you think it's because nostalgia, or is it mostly because the writing was different, or the style, or the execution was different?
Some I guess a little bit of nostalgia. Like with this Raimi Spider-Man films,
Yeah.
those are nostalgic for me.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, they have good
I
writing
grew
in
up
it
with those
and good
movies,
cinematography,
except for
especially
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 2.
I would be critical of like because
Yeah.
I don't. Spider-Man 3. That is my least favorite Spider-Man
Oh, you're a
film.
movie reviewer. Don't be scared.
Yeah,
Get it out, man.
like but yeah, it's like growing up, like for nostalgia reasons, it's like okay, these are the films I grew up with, but yet kind of like from like a point of view now it's like I don't know, I just find it cringe with the whole emo Peter Parker, Hope for Grace, Venom,
Emo Peter Parker.
and like I don't know, I like with my main criticism with the Sam Raimi films is how like just how like what they did with Mary Jane Watson,
Yeah.
just how a bit unlikable she was at times, and always making her the
Um,
damsel in
I'm trying to
distress.
remember. I
But
mean,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, it was the early 2000s back then. They were
yeah,
still trying to like. They were barely just leaving, like having the damsel in distress trope.
yeah,
I mean, I'm sure that's how it is in the comics though too, especially in the first couple issues.
yeah.
He's always trying to save MJ,
Sorry to say,
or
but
Gwen,
yeah,
whatever it was.
yeah. Yeah, for nostalgia reasons, and like I love the first two. The second one is probably it's one of my favorite Spider-Man films.
I do
Even though
like
I'm
the. Oh, my bad. Go on.
even though like I'm big like there's like a 2.1 cut, like an extended cut that is better,
Of
but yet
what?
at the same time of Spider-Man 2. Because
Spider-Man 2.
of Spider-Man 2, it's like a bit of an extended cut
Oh,
of
I didn't know
Spider-Man
that.
2 that like it honestly makes Mary Jane more of a not a just a not likable character.
Is that the one? Is that the cut that has J. Jonah Jameson as a Spider-Man?
He was in the original cut. I'm pretty
No,
sure.
as Spider-Man in the Spider-Man suit.
I know what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure that scene was in the original cut also.
No, no, it's a deleted
Really?
scene. Yeah, it's a deleted scene. I
Oh
thought it was in a.
man.
Yeah, I remember. I didn't know about
Could
that scene
be.
until like a couple years ago when I looked it up.
I don't. Who knows?
Also, like the MJ, I get it. Even as a kid, I was like, oh, this girl's being like a total. I can't even say
Yeah.
it. This girl's
I
being
get it.
a total meanie.
Yeah. Like.
And she's being mean to like she doesn't understand that this guy's trying to save the world, trying to save the New York. I guess not the world, but New York.
Yeah.
And she's over here saying, "Oh, you don't have enough time for me. Oh, why are you running away? Blah blah blah." And he's like, he's obsessed with this girl, but
Mm-hmm.
still, And although there was another girl living right across from his apartment that was super cute and always checking him out,
Yeah.
I think he
Yeah.
should have dated her. I thought
Should
that would have
have.
been a cool. I mean, when he when he turned emo, there was like that little scene where he was like eating sushi with her or whatever it
And
was.
then there's that. Yeah, yeah. I think she was
I,
feeding him the cake, some cake or something, or cookies.
yeah, I think that would have been a way better relationship to push than whatever we got.
Yeah. I don't
But
like, but yeah, I I don't know. Just nostalgia reasons. It's like there's some like corniness that's bad in some of these films, like but not
yeah,
just the Spider-Man, but like the original, these early Marvel films. But yet at the same time, it's like just nostalgia reasons. It is just amazing. Like I don't want like it just brings back memories. I
well,
guess.
the I was gonna ask, is it the do you think like cringe writing or like I guess I don't even know how to put this like the writing like that could be, well the cringe of that writing or like the tropes of those superheroes, you think it's good or you think that's what Sony's trying to do? Because you said you like that era of superhero or you missed that era of superhero films. Do you think we could like you could do that again now with Sony, or you think Sony is
Sony,
doing too much? I don't know.
I think Sony just doesn't know what they're doing, honestly. Because like I guess we
Yeah.
kind of saw that with Multiverse of Madness,
Mhm.
like a bit of the corniness and stuff like that, because it was directed by Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
It worked for Multiverse of Madness, honestly, but I feel like it just depends on the type of character. Because, like, those tropes, like the corniness, the campiness, with, I don't know, let's just say Shang-Chi or Black Panther, I don't think that would work.
No.
No. And, like, I don't know, look at uh Captain Marvel and the Marvels, like how I bet how more of a serious tone Captain Marvel had compared to the Marvels.
Yeah.
And same with the Thor films, like look at the first two Thor films and then Ragnarok and Love and Thunder, like how they just embrace the silliness, like
Mhm.
not really camping, like a little bit of corniness, but just embrace that silliness.
Yeah. Is there? I'm trying to picture like which are my favorite superhero movies, and most of them are like I guess kind of corny because Spider-Man 2, or
Yeah.
I did like the Daredevil, like the 2000 one. That was a pretty corny film.
I love the style. Like I love the
Shang-Chi is.
music.
I'm trying to think. Is Shang-Chi considered? Would you consider Shang-Chi corny?
No.
No,
No.
I don't think it was corny either. I think it was pretty good.
I love Shang-Chi.
I did too. The action was amazing.
It was. I also loved no, I loved the new Black Panther. I don't know. I loved a lot of these recent films. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I was just like thinking about some of these films. It's like, okay, I didn't maybe love Quantum Mania, but I still enjoyed it.
What about Thor: Love and Thunder?
I still enjoyed it. I don't know. It was what I expected, I guess, humor wise and all that, because with
Taika Waititi.
Thor, yeah, with that and with Thor Ragnarok, everyone was praising the humor and all that, and like how they love funny Thor. And Chris Hemsworth was like, "Oh, I will continue to still play Thor, and we keep him funny because how he was before that was boring." And I almost left the role with Endgame.
Oh
And he was like,
really?
and then he was like, "I'm only going to do another Thor with Taika if he comes back."
I think that's
And
gonna be our last Thor movie for a while.
there are rumors that they're working on a fifth one, but it's going to be a different. It's going to be different. Well, even though like I did enjoy Love and Thunder, I just feel like maybe people just thought it was just a bit too much, if you get what I mean.
Yeah,
Which
I
I
understand
I
what you mean.
understand that. I understand that, but yeah, the way I see it, they saw what we liked about Ragnarok with the humor, Korg, so they just gave us more of that. That's how I see it.
Would you consider Spider-Man No Way Home corny?
No,
I wouldn't either. So, what
that's
makes a movie? What
probably
makes
my
a
favorite.
yeah? What makes a movie corny or a superhero movie corny per se? What would you consider like corny? Like just the writing, I guess. The
The
dialogue.
dialogue. So you remember the scene in Multiverse of Madness where they're in the other universe and like they
Mm-hmm.
go to the Sanctorum Sanctum and Mordo comes out and Doctor Strange is hiding behind a statue and then they make eye contact and like how it just zooms in into the eyes.
Yes, kind of.
Remember Kevin Feige was like telling Sam Raimi, "It's like, hey, can you cut that? It's too corny." And Sam is like, "No, no, come on, dude. I need my corniness." He's like, "Fine, have your corniness."
Okay.
So
Yeah, I can remember that. I don't remember. I don't remember when I was watching it if I considered it corny or not. Corny for me, I guess, is just
I would
cringe or like in the line, like in the.
I would also say this
Huh?
one scene too. Like, remember when like Doctor Strange was controlling the dead body of his alternate self, and he's like, "You won't stop me until I'm fully dead," or something like that. And like,
Yeah,
it cuts to the scene where it's like Christine Palmer. It's like, huh? Like looking at him floating.
yeah.
That's also I would
That's
consider that corny.
I would consider corny like when to bring it back to Madam Web where she was like when they said that line with great power comes great responsibility, but
Yeah,
they said it with the
differently.
responsibility, can you handle the great power or something like that? That for me
Responsibility. There would be great.
that was corny. I was like, oh my
Yeah,
god, bro, just say the line, just say the line if you're gonna say it.
there was there's bad corny and there's good corny. That was bad
Yeah,
corny.
that was bad corny for
Super bad.
sure.
There's there's films in the Marvel universe that are in like they're not they're in development. Let's just say. So one of them is the Sinister Six, which
Still in
this has been
development?
in. Hmm?
That's still like in the works. They're still trying to make that
Like
happen.
they're wanting to make that happen, like because
Huh.
that was this was in the works with the Amazing Spider-Man, and there was actually an idea after the Amazing Spider-Man 2 because that unfortunately didn't make the buzz that they were wanting. So they were planning on rebooting Spider-Man with the Sinister Six film,
Yeah.
with Spider-Man being an intern that like gets his powers and stops them. Like that was one of the plans for a reboot.
Huh.
Thankfully, it never happened.
Yeah, because
But yeah,
if that was I don't know. I was gonna say like why would the whole point for the Sinister Six to come together was for them to kill Peter or to kill Spider-Man.
I know, but Sony had this idea for that, and they were actually wanting Tom Hardy to play
Spider-Man?
Sandman, to play
Oh,
Sandman.
Sandman.
And I think they actually offered the role to Jonah Hill, but he canceled. But he's like, no, I'm good. all this was all this was with the Sony leaks that happened when North Korea hacked Sony. Remember that?
Oh my God, yes, I do remember that.
There was a lot of Spider-Man information revealed. A lot of Spider-Man plans
Wait,
revealed because they were
was that
planning
before
several
Tom Holland?
reboots.
Oh yeah, that was before the Tom Holland, I guess.
That was before. Yeah, this was before. Like they were planning several reboots
Yeah.
because no, Amazing Spider-Man 2 didn't do the money they were wanting, and like when they were going to announce Amazing Spider-Man 3, Andrew Garfield was not at the event because he was sick, and they got pissed off and some other shit.
They got pissed off because he was sick.
Yeah, he was sick and didn't attend the event.
That's messed up. If he was sick,
Now,
did he want everybody else to get sick?
now they
Was
have
that
different
huh?
management and all that. They have different people in charge now.
No, that's
And
good.
with them planning a reboot, that's when Marvel slid into their DMs like, "Hey,"
Hey,
and it was
are you guys using Spider-Man at the moment?
it was Sony Japan that bullied Sony into working with Marvel. They're like, "You don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're working with
Oh,
Marvel."
snap.
But
I'm
yeah,
sure
so
that's not how they said it, but like I just
yeah,
for some reason I imagined the guys in business suits saying, You don't know what the you're doing, you mother effing Americans. You better start working with that Mick. You better start working that mouse. So
Oh,
help me.
yeah, yeah. The
You
Sinister
better start
Six,
working with the mouse.
the Sinister Six is still in works. And then apparently they're making a. There were ideas of a movie of a character named Night Watts,
Night
which
Watch.
is based on the Night Watts character that is a Marvel Spider-Man character, and that originally like they were wanting Spike Lee to direct the film.
Well, what's his power?
I don't know. I never heard of the character honestly.
Oh, okay.
I heard about it when like they announced him that the film was in works. It's like, wait,
Hmm.
what? Who this? But yeah, and like apparently they wanted Spike Lee. You know Spike Lee, right? Like they were wanting him involved. They wanted him to direct, and he was interested, but he's no longer involved in that.
Oh, they're still trying to make Night Watch, huh? That's crazy.
So this was who knows what's going on with that. Then they were planning a Jackpot movie, which is a character that looked like Mary Jane Watson that isn't Mary Jane Watson before, but like they recently made Mary Jane Watson Jackpot into comics, but this is like the previous version of Jackpot that wasn't Mary Jane Watson. They were planning a movie about her with like the guy who created the DC Arrowverse, so's writing that, and there was a Olivia Wilde. She was she's going to be directing a Sony Spider-Man Marvel character film that is believed to be Spider-Woman.
Hmm.
And there were rumors that that could be in the MCU because of Spider-Woman's ties with Hydra, Carol Danvers, and stuff. But
Who knows if
what's
Disney wants to work with them?
no makes one wonder if she got tricked into thinking that was going to be in the MCU. Because
Oh, is it gonna be or is it not? Is it? You
no,
said it's
she
rumored too, right?
it's rumored because he was like one of the other an actor, Josh Gad. He's the voice of Olaf. He's like, yes, I can't believe my best friend is going to make a movie for the MCU. Like,
Yeah.
posted that celebrating, and she was like, she liked the post and like thanked him for
Oh,
like congratulating her, but she never said it's not MCU or anything.
when
So
I read
who
stuff like
knows?
that, when I read stuff like that about actors getting tricked into like, I'm like, are these actors like Zoomers or like Boomers? Like, what do they not know that Sony and MC and Marvel are not the same thing?
Yeah. So yeah,
I don't know. I feel like they're not that old, are they? Did they not understand that they're different studios, different movie studios that have nothing to do with each other?
I guess. Like, who knows though?
Yeah.
And so because this is rumored to be about Spider Woman, who was Jessica Drew, but who knows what's going on with that? Who knows? And of course, you're the one you were looking forward to the most, El Muerto. That is still in works, but unfortunately, no Bad Bunny.
Unfortunate.
He left like there was in works for Bad Bunny, but yet he left the film.
Nah, I don't believe you.
No, what's funny about it is that like in an interview, this was months before he left the film, he was like,
Hmm.
oh yes, it's still in works, we're still trying to figure it out. No, I love the Marvel movies, making one believe that he got tricked into thinking he was joining the MCU.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure they're
And he
gonna
was
get
like,
anybody they can if it's
and
true.
he was joking like, watch, they're probably just going to replace me with Pedro Pascal.
Oh, that's
And then
funny.
months later he left. It said it would be due to his
He left, and now
touring
Pedro
schedule.
Pascal. Now Pedro Pascal's in the MCU.
It was said because of his touring schedule, but who knows? And it was reported that it re-entered development back in January.
El Muerto.
So who knows if that is still gonna happen?
Who knows? Sony.
And
Yeah.
hmm, and
No, go ahead.
there's another Spider-Man character film called Hypno Hustler that was back in 2022. It was revealed to be in development with Donald Glover starring and producing.
Mm-hmm.
But yet there are rumors that that film got scrapped, and instead Donald Glover is secretly working on a Prowler film. Because remember, he was Prowler in the he cameoed as the live action Prowler in Across the Spider Verse,
Yeah.
and he was also Aaron. He was, I guess, the pre version of Prowler in Homecoming. So there are rumors that the it's not confirmed, but it is believed that his version of Prowler in Across the Spider Verse is the same one that's in the MCU that was in Homecoming.
I hope so. That'd be
I
dope to
hope
see.
that would be super cool, but we just gotta wait and see. He did say that he thinks he will be back as Prowler whenever they make a Miles Morales live action film, which I hope they do.
Yeah, I hope it's MCU instead of Sony though.
And there are rumors that
The MCU working on the Miles Morales movie instead of the Sony.
so it says here back in March 2023,
Yeah.
Amy Pascal revealed that it is in the early stages of development, and it was said that like
The
I
Prowler? You
think
talking about
just
the
last
Prowler film?
the Miles Morales one.
Okay, okay.
Like, it was said that just I think this was just last week or 2 weeks ago. It was said that it would only they're going to complete Beyond the Spider Verse first, and the Spider-Man 4 Tom Holland one before they get into fully more development with the Miles Morales film. And there are rumors that Amy Pascal is wanting to work with Kevin Feige for the Miles Morales film.
Amy Pascal, she's a lady
She's
at
a
Sony.
producer. She doesn't work for Sony anymore, but she is still a producer for the Spider-Man films.
Okay. Huh. That must be a cool job.
Her her and Kevin, they're the two main producers for the MCU Spider-Man films.
That's a real cool job to have,
Yeah, it is.
being the producer of Spider-Man films.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't she?
And of
Oh, never
course,
mind. Yeah.
and of
Go
course,
ahead.
there are some other rumor films. I remember there was a rumor that an Electro film is in works. There could be a Mysterio film. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see for a lot of this. But also, they're planning on expanding into TV, creating this whole Spider Verse live action for TV too. But these will have uh, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who are the main producers for the Spider Verse films, the animated ones. They're working on live action TV shows. One of them is Silk, about Cindy Moon.
Oh, I heard about that one. I think you told me about that one. Is that one
Yeah,
still happening?
yeah. Apparently, they scrapped the writers and all that, and they're going to make it more male male centered, something like that, which is a bit weird.
Mailed, censored?
Male, yeah,
What do you mean by that? Like, isn't Silk a female character?
yeah. Which seems like I saw people on Twitter pretty much saying what that they're pretty much going to make it for a male centered audience,
Huh.
which is
I
a
wonder
bit
what the hell
weird.
that means. Is that the chick that's also rumored to be at the end of the Spider-Man games? Spoiler, by the way.
Yeah, yes, and that's going to be on Amazon Prime because Sony and Amazon signed a deal for their shows. And there is a Spider-Man Noir series being made, but the thing is, in the comics and in the Spider-Verse film, Spider-Man Noir is a alternate version of Peter Parker during the World War II era.
Yeah. I wonder
But
how that's gonna work.
in the series, it's not going to be Peter Parker.
Oh,
They're making a whole new character.
I mean, I guess that could work. That's probably the best route for them to take.
But it was reported
Oh no.
the other day that Nick Cage is in talks to
Oh,
portray the
oh
character.
snap. That would be cool
And
actually.
remember, he voiced the character in Spider-Verse.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
So yeah, that would be super cool to see. Like, okay, so Jake Johnson, you know who he is, right?
Sure. No, I don't know.
He's the voice of Peter B. Parker in the animated in the Spider-Verse stuff.
Oh yes, I do know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah, yeah, I know
Like
you. I know who you mean.
he was asked if he would ever be interested in a live action Spider-Man movie, if like he would be interested in portraying the character, and he's like, only if Lord and Miller are involved. If it's Sony who asks me to do that, most likely no. But if Lord and Miller ask me to do that, I would most likely say yes. Which proves that even the actors know Sony is full of shit.
I mean, at least he's aware.
Yep, at least he's aware. The Spider-Man films, or at least the Sony Spider-Man films, are better off in their hands.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
No, I agree completely, bro.
look at how the Spider-Verse films are. So I feel like I would like to see them like overlook the Sony live action universe, like how they're going to be doing with the live action TV shows. And because they signed a deal with Sony to overlook a lot more of the live action TV shows. So there's more in works, but none announced yet. Just only
Hmm.
those two.
Is there any that you would like to see as a live action show? I mean,
I
you know Spider-Man characters more than anyone else. That I know personally.
yeah.
So, is there any characters that you would like to see as a show?
Um, I would like to see a Black Cat project,
Oh, that would be pretty cool, actually.
but like I don't know how that'll work. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't
Yeah.
see how Black Cat could work with Tom's Spider-Man
I mean, did you
because of
did
how
he
young
say
he is.
or did he say these shows are like gonna be connected to the MCU?
No.
So, if it's
But
just a
yep, now
show, it could be a
Spider-Man is
one-off thing.
important for Black Cat's story and all that. Which I would love to see Black Cat with Andrew Spider-Man, but I'm just talking about as a
That's not gonna
character.
happen.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about like because a lot of people want to see Black Cat in the MCU,
Yeah.
which I would love to, but I just don't know how she would work with Tom's Spider-Man because
Well, Tom's
Tom
gonna be in
Spider-Man is
college already, bro.
18.
Yeah, he's gonna
I
like
know.
by the time the movie gets out, he's gonna be in
Mhm.
college, and then after
If
that,
he
they're probably
doesn't
gonna.
look,
I mean, he could grow a mustache. But he's gonna. There's guys that look young. It could work if they wanted it to work. They could
yeah,
work.
I don't know. Like I feel like Black Cat would work best for Andrew Spider-Man, to be honest.
He's not. You gotta let it go. He's not Spider-Man no more.
He
He's
will
over.
only come back if Marvel for Marvel.
He's Spider-Man number 3.
Peter
Yeah,
3.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it. Peter 3. Peter 3. Yeah.
But yeah.
So if you want Black Cat, it's either gonna be Tom Holland or nothing.
Yeah, or unless they're just do it in the Sony Spider-Man universe with no Spider-Man at all.
That's probably most likely what's gonna happen. To be
But,
honest.
but that is really, I guess that is really the
Hmm.
Spider-Man character I would love to see one day.
Black Cat.
Yeah, well, yeah,
My
because I
character
think
would
Black Cat
be
is a great
my
character.
character would be Four-Armed Spider-Man.
Ooh, that would be so cool.
That's even his a little cameo. Like in Secret Wars, maybe he sees like another version
Yeah,
of himself with 4 arms. Like ah, he just screams. That would be hilarious.
like I would
What
love to
the
add
fuck?
because I remember like there was like a lot of fan casting like after it was announced that Spider-Man would be rebooted for the third time for the MCU. There was a lot of fan casting for Logan Lerman, Dylan O'Brien,
Ew.
which I would love to. I think Dylan O'Brien would have been a great Spider-Man. He was honestly my choice for Spider-Man
How
at the
ridiculous
time.
this fool is. I'm glad they went with like somebody that's like unknown though, or at known at the
Yeah,
time. They made like an unknown Like I don't even think he was
Mhm.
acting like that much. He had like one movie,
He had some small roles because
like
he
one
did a
movie and a lot
movie.
of theater projects.
Yeah, he had some small roles in films, not big roles, but
But like I'm so glad they did like they went this route and they chose
mhm.
a guy like this. That way they made this like random kid famous. I don't know. Like he's
No.
like the most famous person right now.
What's
Out of
funny
nowhere.
is that he was who Sony and the Russo brothers wanted.
How do you spell Brian? I don't think I spelled Brian right because I'm looking at this guy that you. Okay, never mind. This. Okay, I found him. I typed in Dylan O'Brien and like a 40-year-old man popped up. I'm like, this cannot be the guy Brandon's talking about.
It's the guy from the Maze Runner.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, this guy looks more like a Peter Parker than the first guy
Yeah,
popped up. Yeah,
and
he's
apparently
almost
for
40. He's 38.
and for
Oh, he's a little old to be Spider-Man, Brandon.
Spider Verse, dude.
I mean,
I don't
yeah,
know.
but like,
I'd love to see a lot of like these fan casts kind of like
yeah,
appear as cameos or something.
Dylan O'Brien as Spider-Man.
Yeah, but you know one actor that would be a great Spider-Man?
He looks young. Oh,
Jake Gyllenhaal.
oh, because of the yeah, that'd be funny.
I could see him like even though he's old now, but yet I could see him as like maybe an older Spider-Man.
Andrew Garfield is 40 years old.
He's 40. He
Oh,
was 20. He was 27 when he got cast, and he was 29 when the film released. This was for the Amazing Spider-Man 1.
and he played a high schooler.
Yeah.
Gross.
That's how high school movies were at the time. You have like these almost 30-year-old actors playing 15-year-olds.
Oh my god,
even though Andrew
that is
Garfield,
so weird.
even though Peter Parker in Amazing Spider-Man 1 was 17, but still, that's how those movies were back then.
Even though what? Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was 17.
No, Andrew Garfield's
Oh, oh,
Spider-Man was
he was
17.
supposed to be 17. He was literally 10 years
Yeah.
older than the character he was trying to portray. That
I think Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was he had to be a senior in high school because in that same film he graduated.
yeah. Well, I'm glad they went with like I don't know. I got tired of all these actors that are like super not like a kid and Spider-Man. Because even when I was a kid, I always picture Spider-Man as a
Mhm.
kid, like a high school, like an actual high schooler.
When I was a kid, I always
And
pictured
Toby,
Spider-Man as a young adult, at least a college student.
no, he was supposed to be in high school because he's like the youngest Avenger, in my opinion. I always saw him as like the youngest like guy in the room, always like still learning.
I always saw him
That's
like
how it
because
was in
in
the animated series. In the animated series I used to watch, he was always still in high
the
school, still
90s
trying to
one.
figure out. No, the ones that we used to watch when we were kids, like they were on Disney XD and shit.
Oh, Ultimate Spider-Man.
He was always in. I wasn't around in
Yeah,
the
he was in high
'90s,
school
so
in that one. Well, no, they showed reruns of it.
sorry that I'm not old like you.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield Spider-Man is what made him famous too. He wasn't. I didn't really know that actor until those movies, huh?
Yeah.
So I guess
Was
they did that with him too.
like after doing the role, he was a bit like he would only doing like some of these artsy type films,
He still
I
kind of only
guess.
does artsy films,
Yeah,
to
he
be
only
honest.
kind of does that too, but yet there's just I noticed that with a lot of with several actors like Andrew Garfield, he
Oh, he
wants
was
these
in The
artsy type
Social
films.
Network before
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
that's how he was kind of he got known for that, and then Spider-Man gave him not more fame.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't know. Notice how with several actors like
You
Andrew
wanna
Garfield,
you wanna guess
what's
how
his
old Tobey Maguire is?
he puts him 50. No, he's over 50.
Nope, he's 48. He's only
48.
70
Okay.
years older than Toby. 7 years older than Andrew.
70. Okay.
No, no, he's only 7 years older than Andrew Garfield.
Right. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
Tom Holland is literally 1 year older than you. Oh, two
He's
years
pushing
technically, 'cause
2 years.
he's
2 years.
he's 27. He's 27, so you're
Yeah.
26.
25.
Oh.
Fuck, I'm old. Oh,
Now
that
you just
hits me hard, dude. I don't know why.
25. In 3 years, you're gonna be the same age Andrew Garfield was when he auditioned. for Spider-Man.
But
Excuse me.
yeah, like I just there is honestly a lot I feel like they can do with Spider-Man. And of course Spider-Man is a super popular character.
How old was Tom Holland when he got casted as Spider-Man?
I think 15 or 16.
Yeah,
He was the youngest Spider-Man cast
he was the youngest, I think, person cast in the MCU too at
as
that
a
time
hero, as a
as a hero.
hero,
Yeah, I mean, of
as
course.
a hero
And they
until
made that
the
guy famous, bro. He's like known everywhere.
mhm.
I know so many of my female friends that are like crushing over him. I'm like,
Ah,
really, Tom Holland? And I'm like, yeah, I was like, okay.
Andrew Garfield's right there.
Nah, they say he's too old.
So
She said, Brandon, you sound like you're crushing over him, man. You can't change what a girl likes.
oh well.
They
No,
want
but it's
short
like
kings. Rise the short king.
uh, yeah, like
uh,
I don't know what's crazy with you know is that like after Amazing Spider-Man 2 flopped because
mhm.
the budget for that was between 250 million to 300 million. And there was like an extra 300 million for marketing and it only made over 700 million. Like Sony saw it as a flop, so after that they were like Sony for some reason was thinking, "Oh, Spider-Man isn't a popular character."
Oh my god.
So the deal they had with Marvel was we have to use one of your characters in our films because we don't think he's popular enough to carry a film himself. So
Yeah.
that's why Iron Man was in the film. That's why Nick Fury was in Far From Home, and that's why Doctor Strange was in No Way Home.
Are those but those are considered like Sony movies?
There's just like Sony, they pay for the films. They distribute the films, but yet they're working with Marvel on the films.
It's
It
so
is
confusing.
100% a Sony film. It is
It is
one
100% confusing is what it is, man.
yeah, so it's like Sony makes them for the first two Spider-Man, for those first two
Mhm.
Spider-Man films, Sony they 100% distribute it. You know, it's like they Sony put their money into it,
Yeah.
and Marvel will make the money off the toys and all that. So Sony gets the box office revenue, while Marvel gets the toy revenue,
And Marvel gets the real
the
money, is what
merchandise
you're saying.
revenue. But with before no after Far From Home, because Far From Home made $1 billion.
Yeah. I
You know,
mean, of course.
Disney was like, hey, okay, we're making you help make these films a success. We want a small cut of the box office, but we will also be putting in that cut for the film too to make the film.
Yeah.
And Sony was like, no. And you know, Disney was like, you're literally using our universe and some of our characters. We want to do this, and they got into an argument about that, and that's why for a while Spider-Man left the MCU pretty much.
That's crazy because I mean, I understand Disney's point, but like I heard the
Yeah,
real money in like sales is always the merchandise. So I'm sure they
yeah,
made way more money than
they did, but
Sony
it's
did.
like I mentioned, you know, it was like a oh, they're using our characters. Oh, they're using our universe. That's how I see
Uh,
it.
I mean, to be fair, I always hear that point, but then I think about like back in the day where Sony kind of saved it, Marvel, because Marvel was going
Yeah.
bankrupt. They had to sell the characters off, and if Sony would have never bought Spider-Man, it would have been over for Marvel. Maybe none of this would have happened.
Oh, what's crazy is that you know, Marvel offered to sell them everyone, but Sony was like, "Nah, we just want Spider-Man."
Thank God. I mean, I know I just said Sony's kind of saved them, but like, just imagine if the
Yeah.
MCU took place in the Sony universe. Oh my God, I don't want to even the way they took Madam Web and Morbius. I don't even.
Hmm. Avi Arad needs to be fired. Puh.
I mean, if that happened, they would have taken Kevin Feige with them too.
Oh my
But no,
god.
anyways, I like this because we get like we get Marvel and like Star Wars shit mixed in. Like with that one scene in the Multiverse of Madness where Doctor Strange travels into like that planet that's in the Star Wars
Mm-hmm.
universe. You remember that?
It's not Star Wars, but yet it looks like
Was it?
Star Wars. It's the Fire Planet, right?
Yeah, you told me it
Yeah.
was
Okay.
like.
It's not Star Wars, but yeah, there are people like, oh, that looks like that Star Wars planet.
I mean, it could be.
It could be, but who
Marvel never
knows?
said it wasn't.
Yeah. Like it's I don't know. Like it does, but there are a lot of possibilities for Secret Wars with
Yeah,
maybe some of the Sony characters. We could probably because we're obviously getting some of the Fox X-Men pretty much, even though that's different variants of their characters, but still. And there has been rumors of Andrew and Toby coming back for it, which I hope.
for what was it? The Spider-Man 4 or Secret Verse?
Secret Wars.
Secret Wars. Yeah, yeah, not
There
Secret Verse.
has been
Yeah,
some
yeah.
Spider-Man 4 rumors, so there are rumors of Marvel wanting to do a street level story with Spider-Man, Daredevil, and some other street levels fighting Kingpin, because Kingpin is against vigilantism and stuff like that. Pretty much like
Uh,
a street level type Civil War, if you
Hell
get what I
yeah,
mean.
man. Hell yeah.
But Sony, they're wanting to do another multiverse movie, so it's Kevin and Tom butting heads with Sony about it.
Mm.
So that's
Hopefully, I
the
mean, not
latest rumor. Who
hopefully. It
knows?
sucks, but like maybe Sony sees that with their latest movies, they getting bad reviews and not making as much money that they realize that hey, let's just let Sony. I mean, let's just let Marvel and Disney do what they got to do. We trust them.
Yeah,
Because I
obviously.
mean, to be fair, at least in my opinion, they really haven't. Marvel hasn't really like flopped with any of the Spider-Man movies they've made.
No.
Spider-Man movies, but
Yeah.
that's me.
Fortunately, I
I'm
think
looking at this
Quantum
Spider.
Mania was really.
I'm looking at this Quantumania. That's not a Spider-Man film.
No, I'm talking about Quantum Mania flopped for Marvel. I'm just talking about Marvel movies that flopped.
Oh, oh.
Apparently, Shang-Chi was a flop.
I
Barely,
mean,
almost a flop.
whatever.
I mean, that was
If
during
it
the
doesn't make a
pandemic,
billion,
but
if it doesn't
still.
make $1 billion, then it's a flop, right?
And again, you gotta look at the budgets they put in this film. It's just
This
ridiculous at
Spider-Man,
times.
I will say, I'm looking at the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, and the suit looks amazing.
That is the best Spider-Man suit, honestly. And I feel like Amazing Spider-Man 2 had like the best Spider-Man style with the web swinging and like the movements. It's the best. Even though I love Tom's style, I love Toby's, I love all the Spider-Man, but yet I don't know, it's just Andrews to me. I just felt more related to him, and just the style just felt more like how Spider-Man is in the comics. He felt like Spider-Man ripped out of the comics and in person, honestly.
Yeah, when are we getting No Way Home? I mean, yeah, No Way Home and Disney Plus, bro.
Who that has to be soon. Has to be soon. Because Sony and Marvel has a deal. No, no, not yeah. Sony and Disney has a deal for their films will be on Netflix first, and then after some time it will be on Disney Plus.
Oh, No Way Home's on Netflix.
I don't know if it still is. Might be on Stars because I think Sony has a
I
deal with Stars
I've
too.
heard. I know Stars has a bunch of that because I think
Yeah,
isn't that their deal, their parent company or not parent company, child company, I guess.
I don't know.
Anyways, I think
Oh well.
this podcast has been going long enough. How about you, Brandon?
Yeah, I think so too. But yeah, this podcast has been going on for over 2 hours. Was talking about Madam Web, and it just went on about the Spider-Man project and Marvel nostalgia in general.
Yes.
Fun, but
Good.
okay, yeah. But yeah, overall, who knows what's next with the Sony universe? Hopefully, they learn from their mistakes, but they should have learned from their mistakes with Morbius, which obviously they didn't with how Madam Web turned out. Final thoughts, Marin?
Uh, if you, I would consider waiting for this to come out on streaming if you are really dying to watch this movie. Other than that, nope. I'm ready for more
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'm ready for more Spider-Man. Just not It's Spider-Man Universe. But Madam Web, worst movie ever? No, there are so much more worse comic book films there is, like the 2015 Fantastic Four, Jonah Hex, the Elektra film, and the list could go on. I guess that is it for this episode of the podcast. Our comeback. Who knows when we will do another episode? But thank you for watching. Well, I mean, thank you for listening. And, check out our past podcast episodes for more movie talks. Hopefully,
Hell
we will
yeah.
be doing this. Hopefully, we will be doing this much more. And Marin, any final things to say?
Yes, hopefully you guys see us next week. And thank you for joining us in this journey into fantasy.